Hello and welcome to Gorilla Entertainment. Today I would like to share with you my industry case study that I've done for my project and portfolio 2 class. First off, I'd like to tell you who this man is. That would be Garth Brooks. This is who I inspire to be like when I get out of school. This man is an entertainer. He is a musician and an artist. And is the epitome of everything that I want to be. So what do I want to do? Well, I would like to be a touring musician. What is a touring musician? What do they do? Well, there's two types. The first is a group of people who have formed an act that travel together and always play together. This is like your normal high school band. You do everything together. You have your assigned players, your assigned musicians, and you travel or you play shows together. The second is a hired gun. This is a musician who is hired to play only at certain shows, but may not be part of the original band. So this is somebody who maybe you have a duo, maybe a guitarist and a vocalist that needs a lead guitarist or that needs either just a rhythm player. That's a hired gun. That duo would hire me to play 1-2 shows with them at a set rate, and then after the show's done, I go home, and then they go on to the next city, and they would hire somebody else to play the show at that city. So that's the two types. So what are your required skills to be a touring musician? Well, a good personality. You must work well with others, willing to travel, and work late hours. So let's start with a good personality. You're gonna be traveling with these people, and if you're traveling as a group, it's gonna get pretty close. You're going to be tight in a van, hotel rooms. So with all of that being said, you've got to have a good personality. You can't be a fuddy-duddy. Two, you got to work well with others. Goes right on along with a good personality. You've got to be able to work well with others. You can't just be the number one man. Just I can do it all. I don't need anybody else. It takes a team to put a show on. It takes a team to make music. 3, you've got to be willing to travel. To be able to get your music out there, you've got to travel. You're not just going to be able to play in your one city and expect that the people in the rest of the state are going to hear who you are. You've got to get your music out there. You've got to be willing to travel. Not only that, but you might have a gig 3 states over. That's how you're making your money. You've got to go. You've got to be willing to work late hours. To just work a 9 to 5 isn't going to get it done. To make it somewhere in music and to be respected, you've got to have a good work ethic, and you've got to be willing to work them late hours to get it done. So what is a day in the life of a touring musician? Well, according to Travis Dykes, in the life of a touring musician, it's about 4 hours in the airport, 4 hours in the plane, 6 hours of dead time for a 20-minute sound check. So let's add all that together. That's 14 hours and 20 minutes of no music for a 35-minute show. It's a whole lot of time. It's a whole lot of downtime. That's a whole lot of time traveling. So that goes along with the previous slide, which was work late hours. Got to be willing to travel. And I'm even going to put in being able to work well with others in being a good person. Because all of that, who likes to travel? Where did I get my spark? Well, let's just say I'm a 90s baby. So I grew up with MTV, MTV2, BET, Fuse, CMT. I grew up with the greatest generation for music and for art. So every day before school, that's what I was watching. I would see all the new up and coming artists. I would see them all, and it just always amazed me, and that's everything I wanted to do. Bought my first guitar at 13 years old from mowing yards. Taught myself how to play, and that was, it's all been downhill from there, up downhill in a good way. After I got my guitar and started finding my love, that, hey, this is something I kind of enjoy doing. I kind of enjoy grooving with it. I realized that there was another side of it that I needed to learn. So I joined our youth group at the church, and I decided to want to learn how to do their soundboard every Wednesday. So that's where I learned how my first touch of a professional sound was at probably around 13, 14 years old. I found that music was my outlet. I'm not real good with words. I fumbled through sentences, as you can see. But if there's one thing that I am able to do time and time again, is I'm able to express how I'm feeling with my fretboard, with anything. I'm able to do it through music. I'm able to get out my anxieties, my depressions, my woes. I'm also a little bit of an attention hog, and I love being the center of attention. All of that being said, just has driven me to know that I was born to play. I was born to bring people happiness. I was born to get what's in my head and what's in my soul out. So what am I going to do to try to make these things a reality? What am I going to do to try to make my goals a reality? Well, my first option is to be a sound engineer. Being in the audio recording program at Full Sail, I believe that I am going to have all the tools and training necessary to be able to step out and be a competitor in the market as a sound engineer. So what's a description? Mix audio for audience, manage and update consoles and stage patching, maintain audio systems. So basically, you are the show. You're putting the show on. They act, the band. They're the show. But without you, nobody would hear it. You get to take what's in their head and make it a reality. You get to take their album and shape in a live scenario and be able to watch all of the audience express that. Education and training requirements. You need a bachelor's degree and 2 years experience working. Required skills is operational knowledge of Avid Pro Tools, skilled in wireless microphones, IEM frequency coordination, working knowledge of networks audio systems, fluent with digital audio console operations. So what does it pay? What's a sound engineer pay in Florida? About $45,000 a year is about your median wage. The benefits from doing this is exposure to live music, working with new and emerging industry technologies, and working knowledge of live music productions. So if you can do live music, you could sit in a studio. If you're pretty good at mixing live, you can go to a studio and do work. So being able to be around the music all day, every day, would help me. And the exposure to the new technologies, the new ways of doing things, the new edgy systems that they're using. That's all going to help me as a musician shape my sound. The difficulties is an unset schedule, equipment availability, and on-the-spot problem solving. Can't always get the equipment you need, so you've got to. It takes a lot of pre-planning to make sure that you put these things on perfectly, because you're being paid to put on a perfect show, and you need to be able to deliver on that promise. What's the day in the life of a sound engineer? According to Brandon Blackwell, networking and referrals, keeping a continual pipeline of work through connections and other reputable engineers. So calling people, making sure that you're keeping up with your connections, that you're staying friendly. You're not letting anybody just drift off, because you need to be able to keep these working relationships fresh. Actually delivering on the promise. I just mentioned this. Being able to actually say, I'm going to give you an amazing show, and actually do that. Take the time. Make sure you're doing your research. Is it going to be hot that day? What direction is the wind blowing out of? All of these things take effect on how the sound quality, what you're going to do, how you're going to mix. Office hours. Being able to maintain yourself. You work for yourself. Being able to do your bookkeeping, invoicing, taxes, scheduling. You need to be able to to set those hours and make sure that you do those. Those aren't the funnest things in the world to do, but you have to do them. They need to get done. My backup gig. My backup gig would be a elementary school music teacher. Reason why. I don't think I ever would have, if my school didn't introduce me to music at a young age, I don't know what else I would have grasped. I don't know what else I would have done. I can vividly remember walking into my elementary school music room for the first time and being in awe. She's playing the guitar, xylophone, these big old xylophones that were making this such pretty noises. And all I wanted to do was do that. I just wanted to be able to make those sounds. So what's the description? Design, plan, and implement a music program that teaches children to love for music, develop lesson plans, and assessments. Education training requirements, you need a bachelor's degree and a teaching certification. And required skills is classroom management, organizational skills, and multiple instrument skills. You got to be able to play multiple instruments. Elementary school teacher makes about $45,000 a year. The benefits is helping children in being able to speak and read language of music and expressing their emotions to the world through music. The difficulties is low-end salary, children's behavioral issues, and classroom sizes, and also funding for the program. So part of being an elementary school teacher, I remember, was being creative and how she did the things for us that got us the new instruments, that got us the ability to go to the King Center and listen to these live performances. And I always respected it. And I think it would be really cool that you know, the last thing that I do would be to teach the new minds. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you for sitting through my industry case study for my Project and Portfolio 2 class. But this is the end. Thank you and have a great day.